Some kids just find fitting in easy. I guess it just comes naturally to them. It's like they always manage to say and do the right thing at the right time, and voila, they're popular. I'm Riley. I'm 17, and I'm not one of those people. I'm kind of an extremely plain and dowdy girl who has no interest in fashion, and also a super normal student who doesn't excel in any kinds of subjects. Not only that, I was this awkward, super quiet girl who sucked at social situations. I stayed silent in class, even if I was the only one who knew the answer. I've always been awkward around others. It's like they instantly judge me on my lip chewing and fingernail biting, and they don't give me a chance. Most of the kids in my class didn't even know what my name was. I overheard some kids refer to me as the quiet girl with the brown hair. I went to school, I daydreamed out of the window, and I tried to blank out the cruel comments from the other kids in my class. I didn't have friends. I told myself it was better this way, as friends seemed demanding, false, and needy. At least that's the impression of friendship I got from the other kids at my school. I was better off by myself. Besides, when I felt down, I grabbed my sketch pad and I drew. Everyone has a thing they're passionate about, and drawing is mine. There's this boy at my school called Lawrence. He's handsome, tall, sporty, popular, you know the sort. We shared a few classes, but he didn't know me. I mean, this wasn't surprising. No one bothered to get to know me. Weekends were my happy time. I could draw all day, travel to art galleries, and flip through art books while eating a big bag of potato chips all to myself. One day there was this local artist's exhibition in a nearby town. I took the bus there and was slowly moving from one painting to the next when a boy appeared alongside me. It was Lawrence. I instantly felt so awkward. Art is my escapism, but now a popular kid from school was ruining it. It was like I was stuck to the floor. I continued to stare at the painting and willed for him to hurry up and move away from me. "Nice painting, huh?" he said. Was he actually talking to me? I looked around, but nobody else was close by. "Yeah, I like the color palette. It's so complimentary." He stared at the painting, then tilted his head to the side so he could view it from a different angle, then said, "Yeah, I guess it is." I mentioned how a painting on the other side of the room used gold in a thought-provoking way, and he asked me to show him, and I did. Then, before I knew it, we were in the coffee shop next door discussing artwork over caramel lattes. Turns out that Lawrence wasn't just a jock. His mom was a painter, and because of this, he loved all things art. But his dad was sports crazy and thought art was a waste of time. They'd divorced, and he'd lived with his dad, so he kept his love of art in secret. He kept on telling me I was so different from how he thought I would be. This bugged me a bit, as no one from school had ever given me a chance. But when I thought about it, I came to the conclusion that I hadn't given Lawrence a fair chance either. Turns out there's far more to him than just a good-looking jock. After our chance encounter, I couldn't stop thinking about Lawrence, and turns out he felt the same way. He messaged me saying he wanted to see me again. All that week we met up after school. I loved hanging out with him, and the spark between us was undeniable. When we were together, it felt so good. I opened up to him, and I felt so safe with him. We had this crazy deep connection. But then, at school, he was different. I wasn't stupid. I knew that he drove us to restaurants and cinemas in the next town so that no one he knew would see us together, and he barely acknowledged me when we passed in the school hallway. As low as it made me feel, I could cope with being ignored. But one time when I was sorting out my locker, his friend threw a ball of paper at me. I didn't care much and just carried on, so he threw another paper ball. Then he said, "She's so fat, she didn't even feel it." Those words stung. This was made far worse when I turned around and saw Lawrence standing there, not saying a word as his friends laughed at me. Lawrence immediately messaged me saying his friend was a jerk and that I was beautiful. It didn't change the fact that I felt so hurt. One day Lawrence had to go to his friend's house party, which of course I didn't get an invite to. Then at school on Monday, all anyone could talk about was the party, and I soon overheard how Lawrence had kissed some popular girl named Saskia. I confronted him, and he told me he only did it as his friends thought he was single. I felt so heartbroken. I loved him. But I just couldn't do this to myself anymore. So I told him that I couldn't carry on being his dirty little secret. He begged me to carry on with our relationship, as he loved me, but he just couldn't tell people about me. Not yet. I can't lie. I thought about it. In fact, for a full day. Then I realized that I deserved more. As much as it broke my heart, I ended it with Lawrence. After our breakup, I got his messages at times. I knew that deeply from his soul, he was still in love with me. But let's take his indifference each time encountering me at school and attempts to keep his famous facade into consideration and see. I couldn't hold it anymore. Clearly, he has made his choice and it wasn't me. His desire in keeping his popularity was too big to tell everyone that he loved a plain and weird girl like me. And what's wrong with being an introvert and shy girl? I realized that all I'd ever been was so hard on myself. I saw all my faults instead of any of my positives. So I joined the school art club and made a few new friends. None of us are popular, but who cares? Turns out I was wrong about friends. They can be pretty darn awesome if you find the right ones. My one friend introduced me to this boy she knows from another school called Max, and now I'm dating him. I think part of me will always care about Lawrence. After all, he was my first love. But I deserve better than to be someone's dirty little secret. Never let anyone hide you away because they're afraid about what their friends will say. You're worth more than that. They should trust in the fact that if they can see how amazing you are, then their friends should too.